Hello, developers. Today we are going to explore how to take an Excel spreadsheet and convert it into a table inside of Outsystems. This is great because we can make things so much easier for ourselves. So hang in there. We're going to explore that next. Hello, Outsystems developers. My name is Paul. I've been a developer for more than 20-something years and a Outsystems developer now for over 4 years. Now, while I don't know everything that there is about Outsystems, what I do know, I'll teach you. So, stay tuned for this next video. If you could take a few moments to please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated as it helps Google show this video to others. All right, we are going to create our very first application. This is a developer introduction to development of Outsystems video, and it's certainly not for the advanced user. This is for the beginning user. We're going to create an application, and then we are going to upload a database table from an Excel spreadsheet that we'll use later in other applications or other pages of our application. So here we go. Are you ready? Okay. Well, let's start by going to Outsystems, opening the Outsystems Service Studio, and when it opens up, it'll open up something like this. I just previously to this conversation, I added this right here, which is not really needed because as it turns out, it cannot work within the test environment of Outsystems, the one that they provide for us, because it interfaces with the Google API, and therefore that's apparently a no-no from the test environment, or so it would seem. So I'm going to delete it. In fact, this would be a great example of how to delete delete it. Yes, I want to proceed. So when you first get started and when you first download Service Studio and when you first open Service Studio, it looks something like this. Your environment in this situation, it's going to be whatever you created with Outsystems. When you create an account, it's going to give you a test environment, and that test environment is going to allow you to connect. And let me see if I can see my test environment just for giggles here. And of course, it's not going to, but when you first log in, when you log in with your username and password, it's going to take you to this right here. This is your test environment that was created specifically and specially for you by the curators of Outsystems. So, once you have that test environment and you have Outsystems Service Studio, then when you connect using your username and password, it gives you this as your very first screen ever. After this, it'll look different because you're going to have new applications. And here we go. We're going to click on the Add New Application. And yes, we could use one from examples that they have, but hey, we're gonna learn how to make one from scratch. So we'll click on From Scratch and then the button that says Next. We are going to concentrate on a reactive app, but here you can make a tablet or an iPhone, not an iPhone, a mobile app. And yes, we are going to click on Next. My first app. We're going to name it whatever you want, and give it a description. This is my very first app. And then, you can choose to give it colors, make it exciting. it does that for you, but you could choose to upload an icon if you have an icon that you want to play with. Let's see if I have anything that can be used as an icon. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't have anything right now that can be used as an icon. So we'll go ahead and click on the Create App. It's going to give you this page. And from here, you're going to create your module. So there are several types of modules. There are blank modules, there's service, library, and extensions, and we'll cover those at a later time. We're going to create a reactive web app. And we're going to click on the Create. Guys, this is so simple and so cool. You're really going to dig it, because if you work on a regular standard type of software development platform like C#, with using that kind of language, it takes a lot to create just about anything. The benefit from Outsystems is that it takes less time. Just as robust, or even better, because they do a lot of things for you in the background that normally you would have to do for yourself, as far as securing it and so on and so forth. But it's really fast. So here we go. We have a totally empty application. As you can tell, there is nothing there. The main flow is where Outsystems puts places any new pages that you may want to add. And we are going to add a new page. We're going to add a screen. That's what they call their pages, screens. Because in reality, they think of this as a one-page application with a whole bunch of screens. Keep that in mind. For all purposes, these are, or for those of us that have worked in web development before, these are web pages. So we'll call this home. Home. And we can include it in the menu if we want to. That's probably a good idea. The menu is built for you automatically as you add pages. So that's even more cool. Okay, so we have our very first page. It is absolutely, positively, totally empty. There is nothing in it. And if we published, and this has a one button publish, so if you click on that, it starts to publish this application. And we're going to do that. When it goes, I believe the color is blue, it means that the publishing is done, which means that it has done everything that it needs to make it show up as a web page in your browser. Open in browser, and I need to grab the browser from above. And look at that, our very first page. And why do we have this? Well, because when I created this page, I did not tell it to be anonymous. I told it to be registered. We're not going to go into registering now, because that's for another video. Hey, come on, guys. If I don't do that, then how in the world can I do videos, right? I need to have ideas that I can use next. So I am going to make this, and I'm going to click anonymous, which means that pretty much anyone can look at this web page. Okay, since I made that change, now I have to republish the page. Now, while that is going on, if we had created a username and password, we would have entered it here, and it would have taken us to our first page, which is obviously blank. So remember this for a moment. We're going to come back up here to open the browser. We are going to click, hey, open that browser for me, Outsystems. Oh, look at that. We are in a blank page. Wow, isn't that exciting? How can we make this more exciting? Okay, let's move this out of the way. We are going to create a table. But we're not going to do it the hard way, because this table is going to have data in it. Now, creating a table with data, there's two ways of doing that. One way is you go in and you create a table, and then you add a whole bunch of stuff to that table, and then you save that table, and then you display that table. We're going to bypass all that nonsense. We are going to go to our database tab. We have 4 tabs that are very important. One is for processes, and right now there are no processes there, but that will come into play in a minute. One is for the interfaces, which we visited just a little while ago. That's the one that has the pages and our widget tree. Our widget tree is everything, every one of the controls that we use will show up in here somehow in a tree format so that we can see how to navigate it. And our logic tab, which right now there is not much, nothing that we've added. This is all background stuff that gets added when you first create a application. So here we are. We have data tab that holds all the data information. We'll talk about entities later. If you can imagine that an entity is kind of like a database table. We'll simplify it by saying that for right now, an entity is a database table. Or I should say, it's a database with database tables in it. So we are going to import a new entity, a new entity from our application, and we're going to go to my tutorial videos, to my folder that has a table that has countries and capitals. And do I have it somewhere in here? Surely I do. I know. Stop calling you Shirley. Let's see if we find it. By we, I mean if I find it, because I don't remember what I placed it. Here we go. Let me bring that down. All right. So I have a file called country capitals that has the name of the country, the capital of that country, and latitude and longitude. I got this from Wikipedia, by the way. So you guys just grab it and paste it into an Excel spreadsheet and you have yourself a file. You'll notice that here the name is Sheet 1. I'm going to leave it that way. Normally I wouldn't if I was creating a new database. I want to leave it that way just so that you understand what's going on. So the file is called country capitals. The sheet that we're working with is called Sheet 1, and all it has is a table with text and numbers and letters, which would be mixed, which is kind of like text. Okay, I'm going to put this away. We don't really need it for right now. It is right here. I am going to open it because I already went through this process here. I am going to open it, and the first question is, do you want to import the following entity from country capital, XLS, file named Sheet 1? So remember, Sheet 1 was the name of the actual sheet. This is the name of the file. If I was not showing you how to do this and hadn't done this for a purpose, I would have renamed that sheet something else, because the name of that sheet is what the name of the table is going to be. So here we go. We're going to hit the import. Let the magic happen. Boom. There is my entity, which, like I said before, if I wasn't clear, it is the table, or like a table. It is a table, a representation of a table in SQL, but it comes with actions that you can use to modify the data. Create or update, get for update, or delete. These are normally called CRUD, create, read, update, delete. We're not going to deal with them right now, but just be aware that these are actions that you can use to modify data of this table. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the entity and we're going to rename it countries. All right, look at that. There's no save, by the way. We're gonna make this public because we want everyone to share. Now, what this does is, if you're in another module, or even within your own module, you're able to display the data. So I always put it on public. Expose read-only data. Do you want people to only read this data, or do you want them to be able to edit it in the future? I'm going to say, no, do not expose it only as read-only. I want to be able to edit it at some later time. Index and more. You know what? I hardly ever touch that. Where you're at may be a little bit different. In this case, we're not going to mess with it. So now we have this, and we're going to publish it. And oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Is it really, Paul? How exciting is it? Well, here's what we have just done. We have just brought a huge Excel spreadsheet in just a couple of seconds and created a table. And in that table, we have all of the data that came from that sheet. By the way, you'll notice that we only show a certain amount. That's just a thing with Outsystems, so it won't show you the whole table. But as you can tell, it's enough to know that we have data inside of that table. Data that we did not have to enter manually. And that is the benefit. Okay, Paul, this is great, but what do I do with this? This is so big deal, right? You have a table. Well, hey, here's the magic. We also have an empty page that we created. And I am a full service video developer here. I am going to give you not only a table, not only a page, but I'm going to show you how you can bring that table over to the page. And we're going to use, guess what? These are controls that you can use in Outsystems. Now, this is going to blow your mind because this is so simple. You drag and drop your table control. Then you're going to come up here. Now, listen, you can drag this here if you're pulling everything. And in this case, I'm going to show you that is exactly what you can do. But in reality, there's another way of doing it. For this particular case, we're not going to do it because I'm going to show you something that is critical to this application, critical to all Outsystems, and those are aggregates. Aggregates are what you're going to use to display data within the control. We're going to come up here. We're going to go to the page, and we're going to fetch data from database. Here, we're going to get the country table, and we're going to drop it in there. This is called an aggregate. It's given it the name Get Countries. This is something that pulls the data from your tables. Just think about it as a little tool that pulls the data from your table. And now it is represented here in your interface under your home page as this little blue set of, kind of like an Excel looking set of cells, which is Get Countries, which is that name right there. That is your aggregate. Your aggregate is your friend. We're going to go back to our page, home. Here's our control. We're going to grab our aggregate and we're going to drop it right there. Now we're going to publish. That's it, people. That's all we need to get the data from a table into a page. Now, admittingly, this is very, very simplistic, and as a developer, you're going to be learning to do other things, but this is amazing. Look how simple it was. And look at that. We have all the data from the table. All the data. Isn't that cool? And very fast. Once you get to know how to do this, you can do this in seconds. Let me show you one other thing as long as we're talking about aggregates and tables. We're going to filter this. We're going to filter this where, check it out, where, add my filter. Then we're going to go to our aggregate where the country equals France. Look at that. I gave it a filter. My aggregate now displays that. And if we publish this, and right now this is, this is example only, right? Usually, if you were going to filter by, you will filter by using a variable that you could change, because by having made that change, this is what it was originally. If we refresh this page, boom! There we are. We sorted or filtered that page only to display the capital of France, which is the beautiful Paris. There you go. I think this is enough for right now. I don't want to put too much, give you too much stuff right away, because it takes a while to kind of filter through it for some of us, not for all of us. Some of you are already thinking, oh man, I can make all sorts of different ways I can think of all sorts of different ways of doing this. And if you can't, that's great. What I want you to do is I want you to go and replicate what I did. It doesn't even have to be countries. This can be a table of whatever it is that you want. Just try to replicate creating a table using the interface of uploading an Excel spreadsheet. I want you to create an aggregate. I want you to create a page, an empty page. I want you to create an application. And then I want you to display that table in your empty page. That's all you need to learn for right now. Once you get that done, we're going to go to the next level. The next level is even cooler, a lot more power, a lot more pizzazz. And yeah, this stuff is easy. Relax, enjoy it. This is all about creating stress-free, happy apps. See you in the next video. Hello, viewer. I want to help you learn Outsystems, but I'm not a YouTube influencer. I work long hours as a developer, and while I want to help you and I want to equip you to grow as a developer, making these videos do take a lot of time and effort. So if you feel like this video brings you value, listen, I would greatly appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now go make stress-free, happy apps, and I'll see you in the next video.